Hey there, creepy peeps. My name is Nightmare Maven and I love talking about horror, and things have been getting a little hairy on my channel, so we're gonna dial back the controversy and talk about some werewolf movies. If you're new here, hi, hello, welcome. So happy you found my channel. Hopefully you stick around for a while. I post 2 new videos every week and I host a live stream pretty much every week. For those of you that are returning, welcome back. So happy to see you again. So I really couldn't decide if I wanted to talk about just like my favorite werewolf movies, do like a tier ranking for them, or like talk about my favorite transformations. So I'm gonna kind of do all of that. It's just gonna be about like my favorite werewolf things in general. So let's start with some of my favorite overall werewolf movies. Ginger Snaps is a given. I fucking love that movie so much. And maybe the correlation between a uterus owner's menstrual cycle and a werewolf transformation is kind of low-hanging fruit because the word menstruation literally like translates like moon and month. But I have very strong personal feelings that werewolf stories, like, you know, like the werewolf metaphor, is way better used for like female stories, queer stories. Sorry, cishet dudes. I think the metaphor that we're used to with the werewolf being compared to these like straight cisgender dudes and the beast within is tired. Ginger Snaps is darkly funny. I really love the humor, and I love the balance of this idea that Ginger's transformation is both empowering and terrifying.
Just got the curse.
In a similar sense, The Company of Wolves has grown on me a lot. When I first saw it, I wasn't too jazzed about it, but every time I've watched it after, I've liked it more and more. Again, it's just this idea of using the werewolf like myth to explore women's roles in relationships and in marriage, and exploring sexuality. I just feel like it's a super powerful comparison. Plus, this movie is like at times like visually beautiful, at times kind of a fever dream, all amidst some pretty intense carnage, which kind of fits given that it's compared a lot to Red Riding Hood, obviously, which is one of those like kids stories that is actually really like violent and terrifying, and it makes you wonder like why it, you know, is told to kids in the first place. And because I have to insert books into anything and everything.
Where's Larkin? Couldn't wait 10 seconds, 10 seconds.
I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Blood and Chocolate. This is a book that I absolutely loved when I was a teenager. I read it and reread it many, many times. The story explores the duality of Vivian, our main character. So at first you kind of think it's gonna take the route of so many YA paranormal romances that, you know, it ultimately ends up being the struggle between like a human and a non-human. But this story takes a different turn from all of that, which is why I really, really liked it. Vivian realizes the power in both her human and wolf form and starts to realize that she needs to surround herself with people who appreciate both. Now, when it comes to transformations, conversation becomes a little different because some of my favorite transformation scenes, I wouldn't necessarily say like the movies overall are like the best werewolf movies. You have transformation scenes like An American Werewolf in London and The Howling, like just physically speaking, amazing in what they did in real time. Some of my personal favorite transformations are ones that kind of play with the idea of this like traditional transformation. The idea of transforming themselves, not the actual like SFX, like physicality of transforming. So Trick or Treat, for example, I am obsessed with the werewolf transformation scene. The idea of these women like at the beginning of their storyline getting dressed up in sexy depictions of like children's and fairy tale stories to lure their prey in, when the real costume was like the human skin that they were wearing, their human form. So when you see them transform, you're seeing them like literally sliding their skin off of their arms and legs, and seeing them kind of like having their skin unzipped in the back as if somebody was unzipping their dress for them. And I just thought that was such a clever way to show a transformation, and I get excited every time that scene starts coming up. Another one that's a bit of a nostalgia pick for me is Underworld. It definitely takes that traditional route of like a body being like physically transformed, and it's like very painful. I'm talking about the scene specifically in the first Underworld though, when Michael is in the back of the cop car and he's kind of starting to go through the transformation. We don't actually see him transform at this moment. We're seeing the very like painfully slow physical side of it, again, like with your body being like stretched and pulled, and that's super painful. Looks anything but glamorous, and I love it. And I really like the juxtaposition that is created with the music in this scene. He's in the back of the cop car and he's like moaning in pain. The cops like, you know, turn up the music they're listening to, this like diegetic sound of like this badass music that we would normally hear in maybe another kind of werewolf movie where we were seeing like a really badass transformation. I just really like that juxtaposition of that. And to end out the video here, just some other favorite werewolf moments that aren't necessarily transformations, but I really, really like and they stand out to me. What We Do in the Shadows, of course.
Werewolves, not
What are we?
werewolves, not werewolves.
The idea that these guys are trying so hard not to be these like monstrous, vicious, violent creatures is so hilarious. And it really turns the idea on its head, like what I was talking about earlier, like that very typical cisgendered man who, you know, has to contend with his violent, beastly nature. Like, come on, like been there, done that. I'm trying to be like ultra passive. I feel like that kind of turns it on its head. And I don't know that that was the purpose of that, but I like to reach, so. And finally, just really quick, Cursed. It's not a great movie by any means. It's really bad. But I can't think of another werewolf movie where somebody in werewolf form gives another character the finger.
She's got a bony ass, and fat thighs, and bad skin.
So there you have it. Those are some of my favorite werewolf movies, werewolf moments, transformations. If you want like a deeper discussion on like werewolf, on like the werewolf trope, I would really love to do something like that, like another like deeper dive discussion video. Definitely share your favorite werewolf movies and moments and transformations in the comments. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new here. Become a Creepy Peep today. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I post 2 videos every week and I host a live stream pretty much every week. So I will see you very soon. Till then, stay strange. Bye.